You've been lied to dot all your life. They told you that being surrounded by people means you're successful. That being liked, accepted, celebrated, that's the goal. But what if I told you that everything starts falling into place the moment you walk away from the crowd? What if the truth is that only in solitude your real strength is born? Miyamoto Musashi didn't become the most feared samurai in history by following others. He chose the path of silence, the path of isolation, not the path of discipline so brutal. It broke him into someone new. And from the ashes of that man, a legend was born. This isn't about swords. This is about you, your mind, your war. Your transformation. Because right now, you're tired. Tired of pretending. Tired of carrying people who don't carry you. Tired of being strong for everyone else while you're dying inside. You smile, but your eyes are empty. You give, and what do you get in return? Nothing but noise. Musashi understood something that most people are too afraid to admit. You don't find yourself in comfort. You find yourself in the fire. He walked alone, not because he hated the world, but because he refused to be shaped by it. And maybe that's exactly what you need. You've been trying to fit into places that keep shrinking your spirit. You've been begging for scraps of attention when you were born to command respect. You've been giving love to people who treat your soul like it's disposable. Why? Because you forgot who the hell you are. Musashi's path wasn't glamorous. It was raw. It was ruthless. He stripped away everything that wasn't essential. Friends, comforts, even safety. He trained in caves. He slept in the wild. He fought over 60 duels and never lost. But the greatest battle he ever fought was against himself. He wrote, "You may abandon your own body, but you must preserve your honor." Let that sink in. You can lose everything, your money, your job, your reputation. But if you lose your honor, if you betray yourself, you've already died. And you, yes, you watching this, have already betrayed yourself 1,000 times. You've said yes when your soul screamed no. You've tolerated what broke you. You've silenced your instincts to make others comfortable. And now, you barely recognize who you've become. Musashi's message is brutal because life is brutal. You want peace? Earn it in war. That you want clarity? Cut away everything that isn't truth. You want freedom? Sacrifice comfort. That's the way of the warrior. And maybe you're not holding a sword, but your soul is still in battle. With distraction, with doubt, fear. With a version of yourself that's too afraid to be great. Let me tell you something that might hurt. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to validate you. No one is going to give you permission to become the person you were meant to be. That's your job. And it starts the moment you stop chasing people and start chasing power. Not power over others. Power over yourself, over your mind, over your addictions, over your weakness, over that voice inside that tells you you're not enough. Musashi didn't wait to be chosen. He chose himself. He created his own code. He walked his own path. And in that solitude, he found a strength that no one could take away. Not the government. Not critics. Not enemies. Not even death. He wrote his final book, The Path of Aloneness, just days before he died. And in it, he left behind 21 principles that were so cold, so clear, so cutting. They could rip through the illusions of modern life even centuries later. One of them, do not seek pleasure for its own sake. Another, resentment and complaint are appropriate neither for oneself nor others. And the one that silences every excuse you've ever made, accept everything just the way it is. He wasn't being poetic. He was being surgical. Because when you stop complaining, you start moving. When you stop needing pleasure, you start growing. When you stop resisting reality, you start mastering it. And that's where your transformation begins. In solitude. In silence. In the space where you finally stop running and face yourself. You don't need more advice. You don't need more people telling you what to do. You need a reconstruction. Rebirth. You need to cut away the noise. Sharpen your mind and walk into the storm alone. That's the only way to become something uncheckable. Musashi didn't want you to admire him. He wanted you to become what he became. Not a man who fights with swords, but a soul that doesn't flinch. Mind that doesn't beg. A heart that doesn't fold when life gets hard. This is your moment. Right now. To choose. Will you continue being who you've been? A watered-down version of someone who could be powerful, unbreakable, free? Or will you become something dangerous? Not violent. Disciplined. Not loud. Unshakable. Not arrogant. Unstoppable. Because the world doesn't need more people who fit in. It needs warriors. And warriors walk alone. Look around you. The world is addicted to noise. To likes. To approval. To fitting in. But Musashi knew when you live for the applause of others, you become their slave. And most people today, they are slaves dressed in freedom. They think they're free because they have choices, because they can scroll, because they can post. But inside, they're desperate for attention, for validation, for someone to tell them, you matter. And that's why they're weak, because the moment the praise stops, so do they. The moment someone disagrees with them, they break. You can't build anything that lasts if your strength is borrowed. You can't walk your path if your eyes are always watching the crowd. Musashi didn't care if you liked him. He didn't care if you feared him. He didn't even care if you understood him. He walked into battle without armor, without backup, without doubt. Because he wasn't trying to survive. He was trying to become invincible. And invincibility doesn't come from protection. It comes from detachment. You think you need people to believe in you. But the truth is, you're using their belief as a crutch because you haven't built your own. You keep searching for someone to tell you who you are. But Musashi would ask, why haven't you faced yourself yet? People don't fear solitude because it's quiet. They fear it because in that silence, there's nowhere left to hide. All your insecurities, all your guilt, all your regret, all your failures. In solitude, they scream at you. But that scream? That's the birthplace of transformation. That you want to evolve? Then stop running. Sit in the silence. Feel the discomfort. Listen to the chaos inside you. And then master it. This is not about becoming cold. It's about becoming clear. Because when you walk alone long enough, you begin to see who's real. What matters, what doesn't. You start cutting away dead weight. Fake friendships, pointless opinions, empty distractions. And you find something rare. Peace. Not the kind of peace they sell you in wellness ads. Not bath bombs and soft music. But peace that's forged in discipline. Peace that can't be shaken, no matter what life throws at you. Musashi didn't build this peace by accident. He created it through brutal self-examination. Through years of choosing discomfort over ease. Through war, internal and external. He didn't wait for the world to hand him answers. He went out and cut through the lies. You know what he said? If you know the way broadly, you will see it in everything. That means, if you've mastered yourself, you'll know exactly what to do in every situation. No guessing. No confusion. Just clarity. But clarity has a cost, and most people aren't willing to pay it. You have to give up your illusions. You have to stop pretending. You have to stop blaming the world. Musashi's life was not easy. He was orphaned as a child. He killed his first opponent at the age of 13. He was hunted. Hated. Feared. And still he chose Solitude dot not because he was broken, but because he was building something indestructible. You think being alone is a curse, but what if it's your invitation? What if life has separated you from the crowd because it's time to transform? What if the pain you're feeling is the exact signal that you're ready to become something more? Pain is a message, and right now, that message is clear. You've been living too small, too soft, too dependent, too careful. You've been living someone else's script, wearing masks, swallowing your truth, chasing what you don't even want, just to be accepted. It's time to burn it all down. Not your life, not your job, not your relationships, but your illusion. The illusion that you need anything outside of yourself to be powerful. Musashi understood the most terrifying truth. You are the only one standing in your way. Not your past, not your enemies, not your parents, not your partner. Just you. And until you conquer yourself, you will never conquer anything. So you have two choices. Keep living numb. Keep playing nice. Keep waiting. Or stand up. Face yourself. And choose the path less followed. The path of solitude. The path of silence. The path of complete and total ownership of your destiny. Not easy. Not comfortable. Not safe. But real. And if you have the courage to walk it, you won't just find yourself. You'll create yourself. Most people confuse loneliness with solitude, but Musashi knew the difference. Loneliness is a prison. Solitude is power. When you're lonely, you feel empty. When you embrace solitude, you become full of focus, clarity, and strength. And that scares people, because if you become full by yourself, they can't control you. They can't manipulate you. They can't distract you with shallow praise or empty love. Musashi didn't need noise. He didn't need crowds. He needed clarity. And clarity demands sacrifice. You want real focus? Turn off the world. You want strength of mind. Say no to comfort. You want to master your life? Then you have to master yourself. And that begins with solitude. Not isolation from the world, but from illusion, from the belief that you need permission to evolve, from the lie that you must be accepted to be worthy. Musashi's solitude was a crucible. He burned away his weakness. He faced his darkest thoughts. And on the other side, he found something unshakable, a self that no one could break. That's what you're being called to do now, not to escape life, but to enter it fully, without fear. Your greatest version is waiting, but you can't become that person if you keep choosing what's easy. Musashi walked alone, and because of that, he walked farther than anyone else. There comes a moment in every warrior's life where he must choose between who he is and who he was meant to be. That moment is now. You've played small for too long. You've avoided discomfort. You've waited for signs, for help, for someone to lead you, but no one is coming. You're the sword, you're the fire, you're the path. Musashi didn't become great because he had answers. He became great because he asked better questions. Not, what should I do? But, what must I become? Not, will they accept me? But, why do I need their approval at all? And that's the question that haunts the modern soul. Why are you still waiting for permission to be powerful? The world will try to tame you, break you, distract you. But you were not born to be tame. You were born to walk through the fire of solitude and emerge with a mind that bows to no one. This is your path now, not to escape, but to rise. Not to impress, but to become. Not to follow, but to lead yourself. So walk. Alone. In silence. With discipline. With purpose. And when the world wonders where you went, tell them, I walked the path of Musashi.